Hi there. I haven't been making videos for a while. You can probably tell by my earlier stuff that I was pretty depressed, and that hasn't gotten any better. I did move out of my parents' house, eventually. If you can remember from my John Krasinski video, I said I missed my girlfriend a lot. Well, one of the first developments from after I had filmed that was that COVID hit, unemployment was coming in, and I got to move out. Once we both got our unemployment checks, my girlfriend and I were like, hey, this will last us a while, probably like a year. We can do stuff in a year, right? We did manage to survive for an entire year off of that. We brought Lucy along with us. Something I didn't mention in many of my previous videos, and probably the biggest reason why I'm depressed, is that I have Crohn's disease. I got it in August of 2019, I'm pretty sure. That's when I was diagnosed with it. Right after the diagnosis hit and everything, I was just super depressed. I've been iron deficient the whole time. I finally got put on some biologics. I finally got put on adalimumab. I use Humira, and it's pretty good. It's helped me to get clinically in remission, as per my last colonoscopy. So I did get a therapist to help deal with that depression, but there's only so much a therapist can do. And plus, I was going through a lot of really, really shitty stuff. Like the apartment that we got was a basement apartment. I don't recommend that. Basement apartments suck big ass. It flooded a lot. A few weeks after we moved in, there was a wasp infestation that lasted a while, even though we had multiple exterminators come out and deal with it. And then the ceiling of the bathroom started leaking. We had to get a whole new tub because the tub broke down and was old. Everything in there was old. The paint kept chipping off the walls. We were in a good location, though. We were right next to everything. So it wasn't a total loss. Everything was pretty good. I met a couple of new friends where we lived. Things were fine. Not really. I even got my car broken into on Christmas Eve. That sucked. At the end of 2020, we adopted 2 kittens. My girlfriend's friend had just had a litter unexpectedly. She had adopted a cat, and then it gave birth in the litter box. So we duly named we named one of them Nettie accordingly, because that's an old English word for toilet. And the other one we named Copper because she was coppered colored. And then 2021 rolled around right after that, and I was still depressed, but I was trying to make some headway. I was trying to get a job. Then, right at the start of 2021, in February, Lucy passed away, and she was getting kind of bad for a while, and I didn't have the money to give her good end of life care, but she lived 15 years. She had lived a full life. She had hypothyroidism for a long time. We were actually giving her medicine for that when she passed. I was finally starting to say, you know what, I'm going to do the right thing with Lucy and get her really good care now that we have at least a little bit of money to spend, and it didn't matter. Then Copper one day, after a couple of months, I had taken them to go see my parents because my girlfriend had gone to see her parents, so I thought, why not take the cats, go see where Lucy was buried, because they knew Lucy, I took them there, and they had a really good time. And then on the ride home, Copper was very quiet. She didn't seem to be hurting or anything like that. There were no signs of anything. And then I went to sleep because I was so tired. If you've ever taken cats in a car, it's exhausting. I was driving home at night with cats in the car. So I got back and just crashed, went to sleep, and woke up in the morning, didn't feel like getting out of bed, and I went right back to sleep. And then I got out of bed and walked out into the living room, and I had thought it was so weird that she didn't come to bed that night. So she passed. She was just in the living room when I found her. I tried to figure out what had done it, and it didn't look like anything had. I thought maybe she had choked on something. She hadn't. There was nothing to choke on around. Talked to a vet later on when I was getting Nettie a checkup after this, because of course I would. The vet said that it's actually more likely that she just had like an arrhythmia. I think it was an arrhythmia. And it just caused her heart to like mess up on one of the beats, and then she would have passed away just in the blink of an eye, essentially, or in a couple of minutes. So that at least brought me some solace, but interestingly enough, the effects of it sort of went to the wayside, and I started to try and make a little bit more progress. I mean, unemployment was coming to an end, so of course I had to, and this is like around September. And so I started applying to a lot of jobs with a demo reel that I had made from all of the stuff that I was trying to do with my microbiology class and with film. And, you know, I had edited together a whole video for leprosy. I haven't finished it, really. I did finish it for the class, but it was just supposed to be like a PowerPoint presentation, so I went way above and beyond for it. Then I applied to a bunch of jobs, and I eventually found a job for a graphic designer video editor. And I was like, oh, hey, yeah, I can do that. Applied for it. It was super far away, and I didn't notice until after I had applied, but they were the only person in like months who had actually even responded to one of my applications. And we're talking not just like for film, but for like anything. I did see a lot of the red flags. But it was such a good opportunity. It paid really well, and, you know, it was a great thing to put on my resume as graphic designer video editor. They hadn't told me much about what I was going to be doing, but they had stressed that it would be print work. And I got hired, and then I moved everything. I broke my lease. Broke my lease at the last place, which is stupid. That was so expensive, and it's going to reflect on my credit for a while. The job was just kind of like the person who was my boss was just constantly away doing other stuff and giving me very little input on what I needed to do for them. Very, you know, like I assumed that they were trying to give me a lot of creative freedom, but every time I came to them with something, all they said was, well, I don't like it. So what was I supposed to do there? Then they wanted me to design like a website, which I am not capable of doing that. Just from knowing how to do graphic design, I managed to make a lot of headway anyway, but then they texted me at 6 p.m. I got off of work at 4:30, and they were asking if we could work on something tonight. I work from 8 to 4:30. Like, that's my working hours. I asked if it was overtime. They said, do you feel like you've earned it? What does that mean? So I said no, because I was like, I'm not doing unpaid work. And then they fired me that night. I thought to myself, there's no way they're going to fire me for this. Got that. And I'm like, well, you know what? There's probably something legally I can do about this. I've called around to a bunch of different attorneys, and nobody's saying anything. I haven't even gotten responses from some of them. And some other ones have said, hey, you know, it's because Michigan is an at-will state. You don't have a lot of options. I signed a new lease here. It's another 12-monther. And I'm stuck up here in the middle of nowhere, super far away from my family. Asked my parents for a ton of money, and now I'm indebted to them. And I have no way of paying them back, except if I sold my shit. But my shit is my only ticket to doing this kind of stuff. Yeah, none of that helped with the depression, but at least I am in a better place now. The apartment that we found here is really nice. It's a lot nicer than the basement apartment that I lived in before. So, like, this place had apparently had bed bugs before we got it. Speak of the devil.
Okay. Yeah. All right. As far as I can tell, this looks pretty good. So, looking pretty good to me. Yep.
Sorry, that was the Orkin guy. He just came out and inspected the place and just said we didn't have any bed bugs. He didn't see any bed bugs, so that's good. And I hope that I can maybe get some money saved up just by doing some deliveries or something. I think I'm probably gonna put a lot of my coins into this. I work with Blender a lot, so I hope I can make some good stuff. All right. Anyways, bye. Hope you have a nice one.